Right, guys. What a beautiful morning. I've just been out in the garden and I'm just doing some actually in the air fryer. I just felt like just doing them now because the better when they eat them later. It's like pork belly and crisp it up properly crispy. Anyway, that's part of my almost no carb diet. Anyway, I was talking to the neighbour yesterday, next door but one, and like I was thinking like everything I was saying, it was like sort of saying no, 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 no. You don't want to do it like that. You want to do it like this. And he's one of these people that like just he'll always give you advice on everything. He kept coming up when I was cutting the wood up, going on about the chainsaw, on and on and on. And I was like, why am I listening to this person? Well, I wasn't listening. I was but I was like, why do I have to? And yesterday was another instance. I was like talking. Oh, it's going to be hot. Well, no, 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 no. It's not going to be hot. And I said, it's nice down there, just by the river. The river's over the road, and you can go down, and there's like a little beach. He said, no, 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 that's no good. No good down there. Too small. And I said, well, you can just sit there, and it's cooler. No, 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 no. There's places where you can go and swim and do this, that, the other. And I said, well, I've been to all them places in the rivers. And I said, I go to this one and that one. No, 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 you don't want to go there. You don't want to go there. There's another one down by the bread factory. And it's a great place to swim. I said, there's still a lot of people there because this is almost in town. Well, it is in town. And I was thinking, like, there'll be a lot of people there. I said, is there a lot of people there? He said, yeah. It's packed. You can't get near the place. And I was thinking, well, why is that great then? All you need is somewhere where you can go and have a dip or whatever. So I said, this place and that place. No, 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 no. No, they're no good. They're no good. I know where you're talking about. No good. And there was one place where it was describing, and I kind of knew. Yeah, he doesn't know where it is. He hasn't been there. No, 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 no. No, no. And then he was saying, oh, I've got too much work. I'm tired all the time. I'm too much work. And I was thinking, well, if you listen to me, you wouldn't have any work, in a few years. But like, it's a waste of time. It's an absolute waste of time talking to 90% of people. Absolute waste of time. I did all that before, and I was like on about like, well, if you get somewhere in Bulgaria and like, bought and paid for, you don't have a mortgage, it's cheap to live there. So when the time comes, like say, and even now, you could probably get work here. You could probably and definitely start a business. This place is the eighth wonder of the world. Anyway, they were saying, no, 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 you don't want to go to Bulgaria, no. I said, well, and when I was selling up, that was many years later. It was 10 years later, maybe more. 2003, 2016. I said, well, I'm selling everything here because I can see the way it's going to go. No, 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 you don't want to do that. Don't do that. You're making a big mistake there. Well, it turns out that property is not the thing anymore. And I would say to them now, these 30-year mortgages, you know, if you get a mortgage out now, a 37 years old, 37, a 30-year mortgage, that means you'll own your house when you're 67, when you're retiring. You'll own your house outright. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. 15 years might make a bit of sense. If you get a mortgage out when you're about 25, 30 even, makes sense. You know, you own your house. If 30, if you get a loan out for 15 years, and then, but people are still talking about this ladder, property ladder. And I know people who get mortgages out, even family members, 50 years old. 50? And I was like, well, how long's the mortgage? Even a 50, a 20-year mortgage, you'll be 70. So how are you gonna do that? Nothing makes sense in property, really, and even renting. I mean, imagine renting after you've retired. With the rents what they are now, and you work it out, just do the figures. It does, nothing works out. None of the figures work out, because renting is around about, I think it's about, well, let's say it's £1,000 a month. Just for an apartment. Not a house, just for an apartment. So £1,000 a month, that's 12,000. That's your mortgage, your state pension, gone. You're not eating or anything like that. You're not paying any bills. You're just paying the rent. 12,000, 12 months, £1,000 a month. And he'll say that to people. Say, no, you're wrong. And you're like, well. So I've come to the conclusion that it's like a waste of time talking to people. The best thing I can do now is put these things out on YouTube, and someone may listen. So, and that one person that listens, hang on a minute, £1,000 a month, 12,000 a year. That's the state pension, maximum state pension. I better start thinking about this, and taking action, or coming up with a plan. You know, if you're like 50, so you got 17 years to come up with a plan, solution, and you know, and then you've got to look at other things like, you know, how are you going to eat? How are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? And so this neighbour, I was talking to him. It was like detached. I'm kind of detached from reality now. And you look at things, and it's like someone said to me, my digital assets buddy. He said to me, he was at a wedding the other week, and he was like, he wasn't there. You're in a different parallel world, parallel universe, which that's how I feel all the time. When I go to the supermarket, I think, well, I'm going to the other world now, get some food. You know, it's two worlds, and it's been like that for me since say 2020 when they came up with this lockup thing. Like, and I was thinking, am I the only one who can see this? And I wasn't. There was about I would say in the Western Anglosphere, like they think this happened everywhere. Like what they went through, they think it happened everywhere, and it didn't. It didn't, and it didn't even happen here that much, really. It didn't. Anyway, I can't say too much about that because, like, people don't listen again. People don't listen. Even now, when there's everything's gone silent, and it's a wall of silence. You're not allowed to talk about it. You're not allowed to say anything. You're not allowed to suggest anything. But they all know. They all know. They all know. All of them. All of them. And those that don't know, they're like, they're gone altogether. They're really, in the other universe, and they'll be like this neighbour here. No. And I was thinking of saying something to him about, like, well, you might want to do this or do that. And I thought, don't waste your time. Do not waste your time. Which I thought, like, that was like years ago now. The last time I was wasting my time was talking to people about, like, the medicine and what was in it, the ingredients. That's all you have to look at. And they're on the NHS website, but you've got to dig down about 8, 9, 10 layers to get to it. And they keep saying, well, this is in it, but it's not worth. There's so little of it in it that it wouldn't move the needle. So why is it in there? And you want to see what's in it? Nothing to do with the flu. Nothing at all. Making you better or anything like that. Nothing. There's nothing in that medicine that'll make anybody better. It's not like a load of herbs or like fruit. It's like all sorts of other stuff, like aluminium. Aluminium? How's that going to make you better? How's that going to make you well? Aluminium? Well, you could just chew on some aluminium, see what happens. And then they're telling you aluminium pans killing you. but they want to put it in this medicine, aluminium. Aluminum. I tell you what, I mean, if you just look at things through a different lens, like, I don't know. But this guy, Next Door But One, he's forever giving you, advice all the time. And I'm thinking, well, I don't need any advice. He's like a chain smoker. All his teeth are rotting in his head. All of them, they're full. I've had dental problems recently, but like every tooth in his head, top and bottom, is all rotten. I don't know how he's alive. And he chain smokes, and he's like giving me advice. And I'm like, no. This is, no. And they're always saying, well, this is how Bulgaria is. This is Bulgaria. This is how it is. There's no. no, this is how it's done. And you're like, well, it isn't. Like laws and stuff like that. If you look into it, it's quite a rule of law here. When push comes to shove, you know the laws count, and like especially with all this boundary stuff that we're talking about. And he said, no, you'll never. Next minute he's talking about hey, that's my boundary, it's the law. And I'm thinking like, I'm thinking of saying like, but you said the law, nothing matters here. And next day, he'll be telling me, no, that's the law. Oh, yeah. If he comes 1 inch onto my property, oh, that's the law. I'm thinking like, well, yesterday you told me there was no laws and you'd never ever. Anyway. Well, why do you listen? Why do you listen? And why don't they listen to you? And this was the main thing, what I've always done over the years. I try and tell people things. And like this channel, I try and tell people things veiled, because you can't say that too much, but like, you give them ideas and kind of encouragement, but you can't go into it too much detail, because if you do, you're like singled out, and that was the case actually with the lockups. And you're saying, well, I don't want to take part, and like even like a family member came here, and I said, well, I don't really take part, and I can't get this illness because I don't take part. What do you mean? You can't get it? I said, well, the only way you can get it is if you take a test and that says you've got it, and you buy into the test. And he went like, what do you mean? I said, well, think about it. Otherwise, if you don't take that test, you've got a cold or the flu or whatever, or anything, maybe pneumonia. And pneumonia actually is like, that's your final shutdown, the final countdown. When you get pneumonia, that means your body's what's his name, arsenal of getting rid of illness, detoxing, has broken down. Your immunities and all that. That means basically you're fucked, and that's the end. You're coming to the end of your life then. And like a lot of people used to say, a lot of people died of pneumonia, and that's pneumonia. Pneumonia is your body's broken down. You're finished. And that's what you saw that with like Freddie Mercury. They said he's got AIDS, he's got this, that, and then it was pneumonia. And that's what it is, pneumonia. It's like, that's it. Your body can't fight off the stuff anymore. It's broken down for whatever reason. Natural, age, other things. Young people can get pneumonia. So all that, I mean, the way you believe things and all the rest of it. So this person was here, and I said, well, I can't get that illness, because the only way you can get diagnosed with it, even if you're not sick, is by a test. And if you don't take the test, you can't get it. And I remember it was on TV once. It was like this bloke. It was actually in Merseyside. Not that I was just watching people in Merseyside, but this guy said he was a block paver. And they interviewed him, and he was working. He said, well, he's still working. And, And he just said, well, if you don't take the test, you can't get it. He'd already worked it out. He said, oh, no, if you don't take the test, you can't have it. So don't take the test, so we can carry on block paving. Anyway, that's just a little bit of, I don't know, parallel universe chat.